Jake Paul and Mike Tyson now have been suspended from boxing after controversial fight in Texas. Now, why, you may ask? Now, I didn't know this, okay?
Mike Tyson and Jake Paul have been arrested following what was supposed to be an epic showdown, which instead spiraled into a chaotic spectacle, making it one of the most outrageous moments in boxing history.
I think the whole thing was scripted. The whole thing was just a money grab. And for a lot of us that love Mike, and despite what he said in that interview with the girl about the legacy, we love him and his legacy, and we didn't like what we saw last night.
The event devolved into a disaster, featuring slow-motion punches, bizarre antics, and a blatant cash grab that had little to do with actual boxing.
Jake Paul just got Netflix sued. Got a big problem with this stream cutting out.
But it seems the joke's on them now. After turning boxing into a spectacle for a big payday, they've finally gotten a taste of justice. Their antics, which shamed the sport, have landed them in legal trouble, and this is one knockout they never saw coming. Mike Tyson and Jake Paul stepped into the ring with the world expecting an epic battle, but what unfolded was far from it.
A 28-year-old kid who, used to be a YouTuber, and he's worked hard to learn boxing. He really has. He's come along, but really, he's still not of that level.
Instead, it turned into a sad, slow-motion circus act. Tyson, at 58, looked like he just walked out of a retirement home. His punches were sluggish, his footwork non-existent, and the fire in his eyes? Probably just a trick of the lights.
Now you're free. We all got Netflix anyway, right? And you got to watch the girls fight. The girls fight was good. A lot of people were pissed, but bit of a shit show. But, what did you expect? Seriously, when you stayed home and you turned on Netflix that night, we were like, holy, I'm about to see the greatest live sporting event of all time.
Jake Paul, on the other hand, strutted in like a self-proclaimed boxing prodigy, acting as if years of training with the world's best had shaped him. In reality, his skills come from YouTube tutorials and challenging anyone chasing clout. His so-called claim to fame? Beating washed-up fighters who are mere shadows of their former selves.
Tyson 7 of 34, 18%. So Tyson is averaging more punches than he did in that fight with McBride and in the exhibition against Roy Jones, where he averaged 24 punches around.
Like I said, I don't like the fact that they keep messing with that mouthpiece.
Oh, left hook. Triple left hook. Oh,
Mike's hurt. Mike's hurt.
The real comedy gold was the payout. Tyson pocketed a cool $20 million, while Jake Paul casually walked away with $40 million. Yes, $40 million for what felt more like two grandpas arguing over the last slice of pizza than an actual fight. If this is the future of boxing, bravo.
You can't fight like 2 days in a row.
Wasn't the Tyson-Jake fight, wasn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Then came DJ Who Kid's shocking revelation. The fighters were instructed not to go full throttle. Was this a boxing match or a playground scuffle? Tyson and Jake, both acting closer to 80 than their actual ages, were apparently told to take it easy. This wasn't a fight, it was a staged spectacle, a circus performance with Tyson and Jake as the headlining clowns. But the real drama has shifted from the ring to the courtroom. The International Boxing Association (IBA) has hit both fighters with serious allegations, branding the event the scripted fight heard around the world. Lawsuits are piling up, and the word rigging has become boxing's newest scandal. What started as light sparring has turned into a legal free-for-all, and Tyson and Paul now find themselves battling for their reputations outside the ring.
At any point did you start to take your foot off the gas just a little bit because you noticed he was tiring out?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a bit. I wanted to give the fans a show, but I didn't want to hurt someone that didn't need to be hurt.
Mike Tyson, once hailed as the baddest man on the planet, is now in serious hot water. Accused of being part of this grand spectacle, he's facing not just social media backlash but the looming threat of arrest for staging a glorified show for money. The iconic boxer's legacy is under fire, and what was meant to be entertainment has turned into a legal nightmare.
I mean, if you didn't think that that's the way to fight, I don't know what people expected. Mike's almost 60 years old. He's Mike Tyson, but he's 60 years old. He knew that Jake Paul couldn't do anything to him, so you knew what you were going to get.
In fact, rumors are swirling. Scratch that, whispers are turning into full-blown speculation about whether Tyson's legendary status can shield him from the fallout. Was he a victim of the spectacle, an accomplice in the scam, or just an aging fighter trying to cash in on a hefty paycheck? We don't know yet, but one thing's clear: Tyson's legacy is on the line, and this could be the moment that defines how he's remembered.
Mike Tyson could have knocked him out there. Jake Paul's chin was wide open, but then Mike Tyson realised, just as he was about to throw that punch, that, oh no, I'm getting paid lots of money, I can't knock him out. So ridiculous, mate. This video has been sent to me so many times. It's went viral. People saying that Mike Tyson could have knocked him out. See, it was a scam. It was a...
Jake Paul might be riding high on that big payday, but now he's facing a whole new kind of battle: the courtroom. Imagine that, Jake Paul, the problem child of boxing, potentially diving into a very different kind of fame. His influencer brand thrives on controversy, but this might be one scandal too many. The IBA could go after him hard, and depending on how it plays out, this could be a career-defining moment. Both Tyson and Paul have dragged boxing through the mud, and now it might become the new normal to question whether a fight is truly authentic or just another showbiz circus. When you watch the fight footage back, it's hard not to laugh at how corny it all looked. Tyson, once known for knocking men out with a single punch, seemed more focused on remembering where he left his keys.
Jake Paul?
His defense was all about posing for the cameras, throwing punches like he was auditioning for a role in a Rocky remake. It was clear, this wasn't a fight.
What we saw last night seemed like something that very much tarnished his legacy for a little bit of bread, you know? And somebody will say, oh, 20 million, that's not a little bit of money. Well, you know, I was talking to my man Isaiah Washington earlier, and he was breaking it down as far as...
Seriously, what's more entertaining than watching the so-called biggest fight in recent boxing history unravel into an embarrassing spectacle?
The best part?
Everyone walks away with fat paychecks for pretending. It's the ultimate irony. What was hyped as a legendary showdown ended up being a high-profile circus act, with everyone laughing to the bank.
He wasn't even good at the end. And now he's 58, and he's been living the kind of life he's been living. How's he going to have a chance? How's he? I'm putting everything on Paul. I'm laying 180. I think it was 180 he was getting. It was two. I think it went up to minus 220, whatever. But it was minus 180. I'm putting everything in.
Mike Tyson, a man who once ruled the ring with an iron fist, is now reduced to following a scripted routine just to cash in. Jake Paul, the king of social media drama, continues to flex for his fans at every opportunity. This wasn't about boxing, it was more about putting on a show. Too bad we all bought tickets to the circus. Now, other cases of scripted fights are starting to emerge, raising the question: is this becoming the new norm in combat sports? Do we, as fans, need to accept that sometimes the entertainment value outweighs the actual competition?
Mike has his one move he's known for, and like he gets in the pocket, goes low and gets in, and he did that and had a clear opening on Jake, and Jake went like this, and Mike just didn't hit him, and that's the video I'm seeing everywhere, but I remember in the
Show
moment...
me that. Hold that. You'll probably watch it if it's short.
But yeah, I agree, Dan. I think it's more of just like they agreed to...
It's a show fight.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of what they do.
Yeah. Tyson and Paul might have just sparked a legal wildfire over accusations that Netflix's live stream of the fight was so poorly executed that fans were demanding their money back. The technical issues were a disaster: buffering, crashes, and low-quality streams during the most crucial moments of the fight. But that wasn't even the worst part. Oh no.
Requested the 2-minute round, wanting to see more action. He just landed the overhand right, testing the beard of Paul.
And everybody was saying, nice shot by Jake Paul.
Right hand by Paul, that is.
The real drama unfolded when Netflix was hit with class action lawsuits accusing them of deceptive practices and breach of contract. Fans, frustrated and furious, are demanding refunds, and they're not holding back. It's turning into a full-blown legal storm, with the streaming giant now facing serious backlash for failing to deliver on the fight fans were promised.
Last Friday's big ringside fight could be heading to court. A Florida man has filed a $50 million lawsuit against Netflix claiming breach of contract.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's kind of like when Mayweather fought Logan Paul. Everyone knew it was more of a show than an actual fight. With Tyson being as old as he is, it's clear that it wasn't meant to be a serious bout. Mike was probably never going to hurt Jake, and it feels like they both knew that going in. It's all part of the spectacle, just like these kinds of show fights.
In breaking news, streaming giant Netflix is being issued a class action in relation to the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight. TMZ reports the lawsuit is over streaming issues and a breach of contract.
The internet exploded with clips dissecting every punch, with critics pointing out how Tyson's slow movements in the ring didn't exactly match the intense training footage. Some fans believe it was all a setup to protect both fighters' reputations. Tyson's legacy intact and Jake Paul's ego untouched. And if you thought this was all just talk, Jake Paul's manager is quickly dismissing the rigging allegations, calling them baseless. But let's be real, once the rigging rumors take hold, they're hard to shake, no matter how much you try to deny them.
But yeah, I agree, Dan. I think it's more of just like they agreed to.
It's a show fight.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of what they do.
Yeah.
It's the same thing when Mayweather
Like
fought Logan. It was like obvious. But yeah, I mean, listen, Mike Tyson's oldest. I think you're right. They decided not that. I mean, because I don't think Mike was ever going to hurt Jake, probably.
Boxing fans were livid, and who could blame them? This was supposed to be a clash between two fighters, but instead, it felt like a staged performance with more drama than the worst reality TV show. Hardcore boxing fans saw right through the facade and they weren't happy about it. What was meant to be a thrilling fight turned into a disappointing spectacle, leaving fans feeling cheated and furious.
Everybody who, got in and getting ready for, something magical, something historic, whatever. I just want to say the same thing I say to myself. Hello, suckers. Hello, suckers. Myself included.
The script didn't just ruin the fight, it turned fans' skepticism into outright fury. Who could blame them? The integrity of a sport built on blood, sweat, and broken bones had been tossed aside for an Instagram post and a few extra zeros on paychecks. Social media erupted with memes, rants, and heated debates about the fight's legitimacy. Hardcore boxing fans felt completely duped, while casual viewers were left in limbo, unsure whether to cheer for Jake Paul's win or feel like they'd just been part of the world's most expensive TV show.
The whole thing was scripted. The whole thing was just a money grab. And for a lot of us that love Mike, and despite what he said in that interview with the girl about the legacy, we love him and his legacy, and we didn't like what we saw last.
Speaking of Jake Paul, this whole mess has put his influencer boxer persona in serious jeopardy. Can he bounce back from this? Will fans ever see him as anything more than a YouTube star with a pair of gloves? The jury's still out, but one thing's for sure, this controversy isn't doing him any favors. His credibility as a fighter is taking a major hit, and rebuilding that reputation is going to be a tough fight.
Jake should fight somebody
Jake's like
his own
6'1".
size, his own age. Just enough. Who knows how to box?
I want to see him do MMA with Conor McGregor. I've seen that thrown around
He
too.
would never agree to that.
I think he's been wanting. I think he's challenged him.
No shot he would do that.
Then there's Tyson's legacy. Once considered the untouchable champion, now he's under fire for possibly selling out. The man who once ruled the ring with sheer power is now facing accusations of compromising his own principles for a payday. It's a hard fall from grace, and the scrutiny over his involvement in this staged spectacle could tarnish his legendary status forever.
Conspiracy theorists argue that Tyson, now 58, took the fight for the $20 million payday and let Paul have an easy victory. After all, Tyson is well past his prime, hadn't fought in years. Some even claim Tyson wasn't attacking at all, making it seem like the whole thing was staged for Paul to get a win over a legendary boxer.
Then there's Tyson's legacy. Once considered the untouchable champion, now he's under fire for possibly selling out.
I think the whole thing was scripted. The whole thing was just a money grab. And for a lot of us that love Mike, and despite what he said in that interview with the girl about the legacy, we love him and his legacy, and we didn't like what we saw last night. What we saw last night seemed like something that very much tarnished his legacy.
From a legendary status to the star of a Netflix drama, could this be the end of the road for Iron Mike's reputation? Some fans feel like they've been hit below the belt, not with a punch, but with betrayal. The real question now is whether boxing is about entertainment or authenticity. With influencer boxing on the rise, more fans are wondering if the sport is losing its soul in favor of a paycheck. The line between sports and spectacle is blurring faster than Jake Paul's punch, and the question isn't just whether it's happening, but how far it will go. Did Tyson and Paul rig their fight? Probably not, but the rumors are so juicy that they'll keep the controversy alive for a while. As both fighters navigate the fallout, it's clear this fight will be remembered, but not for the reasons they hoped.